Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jacob with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Will the Trump administration soon treat terrorist actions in our U.S. cities as license to kill? Right. So I would say that's where things need to go. All right. So we're going to talk about that. Right now, I'm at the Anaheim Convention Center. We're having great LifeWave events. So share the light. All right. Share the light is the way to go, guys. I've had great success with the LifeWave products, built a great business. 3 of my dreams, one of them was be Navy SEAL, 2 was be in CIA type, James Bond type thing, which I did, and to build a great business where I would be able to help people. So LifeWave, I think, is a gift to humanity from God. It is a patch, basically you put on your body for 12 hours at a time, and it gives you amazing results. So a lot of you guys have said I look like a lot younger. I was like, thank you very much. But other things that have happened to me has been incredible, and to other people. So share the light, do the patch, and not only has LifeWave become, for the last 3 years, the #1 networking company in the world 3 years in a row, but also now with the new compensation plan that starts Monday, it will become the #1, basically allowing people to make money very quickly. So it's going to be amazing going forward. So I'm real excited. So looking at the future for our cities is what we need to be looking at. Of course, we know that, and I've talked to a lot of people here. Almost everyone here is very concerned about the way our country is going with the leftists and so forth. So I think there's going to be a very, very good pushback against that. So we've seen President Trump starting to preemptively push into cities with National Guard units. He did that in LA, did that in DC, trying to do that in Chicago. I guess he just got recently approved for that in Portland. More cities to come. All right. So when you come, because right now they're starting to designate certain groups as terrorists. So if you come to what's supposed to be a peaceful rally, and you come with shields, you come with body armor, you come with gas masks, and there's rock pallets are being dropped and so forth, or brick pallets are being dropped. I think just like when we're in combat, if somebody shows up like that, they're a terrorist threat, and they get a bullet to the brainstem and blows that thing out, right? So I think we could start to see some of these terrorist groups actually start to be eliminated, license to kill, guys, right? So we need to see that. And that, how fast that stuff's going to stop. Now, if it does need to accelerate, if they want to accelerate it, let's get it on. All right. A lot of us have been like, this is go time, right? We're sick of this. These people are not American citizens when they come to a peaceful rally like that. Peaceful rally, absolutely, no problem. That's the American way. But when you come and you start to incite and do violence, then there's got to be repercussions for that. And I think that some of the people that come that are of a threat, then they should be eliminated, right? So we need to start to deal with these people like they're battlefield terrorists, right? Terrorists, when I've spent a good portion of my life in, countries that were terrorist countries, guys, right? So we did not mess around at all, right? If we had a license to kill, you've heard that, James Bond, license to kill. I was that way in the CIA, guys. We had a license to kill. So if we saw that there was someone that was a threat to us or the people we're protecting, they're gonna get the bullet, right? And it's going to be ruthless, and then we're going to move on. So that's what I think we're going to see that coming up in the cities. And I would rather we start that process than they do it. Right now, they've already started to do that. We've seen this in a couple places down in Dallas, Texas. ICE agents were ambushed. Fortunately, one of the officers was shot in the neck. It did not, it was not life-threatening. And the people that did it were apprehended. Now, the people that did that, they're lucky they got apprehended, right? Because I think like in Florida, you have the sheriffs in Florida, several of the sheriffs in Florida said, if you are a threat to our officers, we will be calling your relatives to come get your body, right? Because we're going to kill you dead, right? And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be in all these cities. So if the cities aren't going to do it, when federal troops come in there, they should do it, right? They should do it, guys. We need to stop this. This is not the American way. We're going to make America great again. We're going to have to do away with these small percentage of people that are trying to invoke violence, right? So nip it in the bud, stop it now. We're going to look at some video, and I'm going to talk about how they have brought in illegal aliens basically to replace us. And this is happening not just here in America, but all over the world. And I've talked to some people here that are associated with LifeWave from Canada. As a trucker, really good guy, and his wife. My God, what they're doing up there in Canada by bringing these illegal aliens, basically they're doing everything for them. Sound familiar? They're doing everything for them, and the reason why they're doing that is lowering the wages of everybody else. People can't afford to live in Canada anymore. This gentleman was saying, I'm going to have to leave Canada. I can't afford anything, right? And at one time he was a very successful trucker, and now the truckers are being replaced by illegal aliens. Same thing we're seeing in the United States. Of course, we have a huge outbreak of people that are dying from some of these illegal truckers that came in during the Biden administration, and now they're running. They're on drugs. They don't understand the language. They don't understand signs. They're like killing people like crazy on our highways now. So I think we're going to see a turnaround of that. So let's look at some of the stuff that's coming.
And that is where the Trump administration has changed the game. By officially designating Antifa a domestic terrorist organization, anyone associated with Antifa is now subject to some of the harshest penalties in the criminal code. Anyone who knowingly provides.
Now, I believe that they should be subject to battlefield conditions. If you come to a peaceful U.S. city and you're geared up to go to war, pretty much, and you're a threat, and they see you as a threat, you die, right? You're killed, battlefield dead, right? That's the way it should be. Killed, battlefield dead. That's the way it's going to be going forward. It's got to be. All right. We can't wait for these jackasses to start to shoot. Well, they've already started. They shot in Dallas, like I described, and they also did that in Chicago. All right. They boxed in a bunch of ICE agents and they opened fire on them. So the bullets have already started to fly. So they need to come back the other way, and need to come back in a very aggressive and very vicious, and let's stop all this bullshit right now. Right. So I think we're moving that direction. I think it's coming. And I know, because I spoke to so many people this over the last couple of days, and I'm sure I'll speak to a lot more. And I'm in California. Now people are coming from all over the world here for this LifeWave convention. So I get to, see people from everywhere. I talked to a guy from Hong Kong today, and he saw one of my videos, and he changed it into Chinese, and he showed me how he changed it, and we took a picture together. It was really cool. So there's a lot of people that just want to live their lives. And like here, we're, business people trying to help other people in a business that, a lot of other businesses are collapsing. and LifeWave is like accelerating higher than ever. So we can't do that. None of us can do that in an environment that is drug infested from cartels, criminal activity, because a lot of these cities with mayors and, you know, governors keep releasing criminals back into the system. But I guess they're benefiting from it somehow, guys. Why would they do that otherwise? So we need to see that. And even President Trump has commented on that he said that we're just coming in to stop crime. And they're stopping us from doing that. What kind of reality are we in right now with that happening? And he said, like I keep saying, is that they're benefiting from that, right? It's pure and simple. So these mayors, these governors are part of criminal organizations, in my opinion. They need to be arrested, taken out of office. They're not performing. They're not helping the people like they're supposed to. If it can be proven that they are receiving funds from these criminal organizations, then it's like yank them, try them, put them behind bars, execute them, whatever we got to do, right? There's a long line of people that are ready to move in and do the right thing, guys. This is not a problem. This is not a problem. So, yep, they found the money funding Antifa riots. So the George Soros funds and all the other ones that I've described in the past. This is something that's already known. We know who and where the problem is. Now, this is President Trump basically speaking like I'm speaking, right? So this is not, I'm not here to win a popularity contest. President Trump obviously is not there to win a popularity contest because, as we know, there's like a good portion of the leftists of the country have extreme Trump derangement syndrome, right? So he realizes that, but he knows that there are, and I know that there are a lot of people out there that want to see this craziness turned around. And if we are all working together and we all are in agreement, most of us, 90+% of population, I believe now, then we can make this thing work.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay, we're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay.
Mr. President.
All right. They're going to be like battlefield dead, guys. All right. So we know that our cities, we're at war in our cities. We know that. So why not start to take the fight to them now and take it very aggressively? I think that this is really going to make this move in a very quick direction, the way it's supposed to. Let's stop messing around. It sounds to me like President Trump, and I listened to that earlier, and Pete Hegseth came in, Pam Bondi was coming in. They were talking about how there's people that are on social media with apps that are exposing ICE agents, you know, pictures of them, where they live, their families. They're coming, the social media platforms and so forth are helping Department of Justice because they don't agree with that. Wow, that's great. You know, so things are turning, guys. Things are turning in the right direction. Common sense is starting to come to the surface, and it's pushing its head up, and it's looking around. It's like, yeah, we need to fix that. We need to fix that. So we're going to start to move in this direction. We are at war in our cities right now, in many of them. It's been hidden. The leftists that are benefiting from this war that's going on from the cartels. So you heard him say cartels. The cartels are running almost all of our big cities, guys, with the help of mayors and other political appointees that they put in office, and governors and their political appointees they put in office. They're all benefiting from this, or they're all like a Jeffrey Epstein, bad situation. They've done bad things, and now they've got dirt on them, so they have to play. All right, so it is on. I believe we're so on the cusp of this thing really starting to turn and go heavy in the direction of shutting this down. Because once that starts, some of these cities like Chicago is going to be a war zone, guys. Chicago will be a war zone. I see military. Well, we've already seen, ICE agents and SWAT teams and so forth. They got military vehicles, armored vehicles. You're going to see a lot more of them in big cities like Chicago. And some of them might even have like, tank barrels on them, like blast down doors and fences and so forth, and rush in. And because you got a lot of guys, former military guys that are going into ICE and some of these police forces. They know how to move. They know how to take down the enemy. All right. They've already done it. We're going to do really good. We're going to do really good. Yeah. Buckle up, guys. So it's going to get hot and heavy, but we have to be ready to support this. We have to talk this up, get the right people in position. When some of these people get yanked, like we're probably going to see in Chicago and in California and some of these other states, when those governors and mayors and so forth are getting yanked, we're going to need to replace them. We're going to need people to stand up and take those positions. We're going to need good people. There's plenty of good people out there, but just be ready that this is coming. All right. There's no question. There's no other way that this could happen other than that. All right. It's moving in that direction. So yeah, Lewis Herms, there you go. Lewis Herms, ready, perfect, boom. All right. And in Texas, we have a former Special Forces guy that I think I'm gonna have on my show. What's his name? Gotta pull it up. But we're gonna probably do some shows with him. Start to get his face and his name out there. He's doing really good work. What's it? SF Texas governor race. Who's my man? All right. It's not showing it. Come on. All right. Governor Greg Abbott is running for re-election to an unprecedented fourth term. Bullshit. All right. So he can't go back in there, guys. So we got Pete Chambers, former lieutenant colonel in U.S. Army Special Forces. So Pete Chambers absolutely needs to be the next governor of Texas. What do you guys think? All right. So you Texans, you need to get Hot Wheels out of there and get a real man that's been down on the border fighting, and is going to fight. He was at the floods, I heard. So Pete Chambers. And so where's my Texas peeps? What do you guys think? Abbott is a joke. Truth or Mike, you're not a Texan, but I'll take that. Right. Floridian. All right. So come on, Texans, let's go. Who do you want? I'm in Texas and I've never heard of Pete. No shit. What the hell? Right. So I got to get him on my show. I got to Pete, come on, man. People don't even know you. Come on. So yeah, that's the way it's going to be. We're going to get him on the show. I talked to somebody that knows him that's here in this convention. And so we're going to get him on the show and get that started. All right. I'll get him out there. Texas here, Chambers. You good? Let's go, Pete. Yep. Tara, Georgia girl, corruption. Corruption well. And you want to, wherever we can replace corruption, guys, you guys should be behind it, behind replacing it. Right. So all of us, Texas here, Midland. All right. I have a friend in Texas. Good. So Pete Chambers. Pete. All right. Good. Laura. Pete, he's solid. Good. Pete Chambers for governor. I'm from Texas. There you go, Patty. All right. So we got to get this going, guys. God was telling me that you need to get Pete Chambers on your show, and this amazing person shows up, like, and we're talking, and she's like, do you know Pete Chambers? I'm like, are you kidding me? I've been like figuring out how I get him on my show, and she's like, oh my God. And so we're gonna get him on the show. So I hope. I mean, because you know how I am. Here I am talking about like blowing away bad guys on our city streets. So, and like kill them dead, like Battlefield dead. And I don't know, Pete Chambers might be along the same lines, guys, because he's, SF, he's done some combat tours and so forth. So I think he'd be great for Texas. So we just got to get him out there. Hopefully we can get Scott McKay involved and Nino Rodriguez. So I'll get him on, and then we'll just start grassroots, guys. Grassroots is like, I've done grassroots so many times and so many different things and turned stuff around that was all messed up. So it'll be good. All right, Katie, Texas, reporting for duty. You know Pete Chambers, running for governor, former SF guy. And if you do, then let's say yay. All right. So anyway, all right. So we'll get more. We'll get more into it. Yeah, let's try and master. That's right. We need to go from 100,000 to 100 million. All right, let's do that. All right, I like that. Million. Yeah, 100 million. How about that? All right, guys, let's look at the crazy stuff that's going on with these illegal aliens. We need a guy like Pete Chambers. Pete Chambers to get rid of them. All right, so truck driver was in U.S. illegally, released by Biden. So he came across the border as a young man, teenager, and now he's like 21. Licensed by Newsom, of course, California. All right, so you got liberal idiot Biden and liberal idiot Newsom, who is a vampire. Details surrounding illegal alien trucker Jashanpreet Singh are infuriating. So in the heart of America's vast highway system, where families travel to build memories and workers haul the goods that sustain our nation. You guys remember when we used to celebrate truckers? It was a very short period of time, but it was during COVID, and the truckers kept hauling stuff so that we could have food. And everybody was like, yay, truckers, yay. And now people don't think about truckers anymore. In fact, we don't think about them to the point where they're being replaced. Our great truckers are being replaced, not only in the U.S., but also in Canada. All right, so tragedy struck with devastating force on a stretch of California's I-10 freeway. 21-year-old illegal alien from India, Singh, plowed his massive semi-truck into slow-moving traffic, killing at least 3 innocent people. We've heard this over and over again here in America, and injuring several others. Dash cam footage captured the horrifying moment. No brakes applied, just a relentless surge into the jam, as if lives meant nothing in the face of reckless abandon. So toxicology reports later confirmed that what witnesses suspected, Singh was impaired, leading to his arrest on charges of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. All right, this preventable catastrophe was born from failed policies that prioritize open borders over the safety of American citizens. So let's break this down. So this incredible gentleman from Canada basically broke it down for me last night. He says, I'll come on your show. And I was like, I don't know, man. Every time you Canadians come on my show, you get in big trouble. All right. So I don't protect you. So I'll put this out, and who knows, maybe we'll get you on at some point. But because the Canadians are Nazis up there, real live Nazis in Canada running the government. And everybody is like really disgusted and concerned. Everybody's like, we want to be the 51st state. Bad. And I talked to people from almost every single province, except, of course, Quebec. And that's where the baddies are, right? And I'm sure there are some good Canadians in Quebec, but that's where the main government is. And they have been doing horrific things for the last 4 years, guys, and it keeps getting worse. So he told me how basically the government was funding illegal aliens, and they would bring them in, and they would give them enough money to live for months. Rent, thousands of dollars. Rent was paid. They get free food, free medical care. What is going? Why? Why have they been doing this? Not only in Canada and the United States and many states, but also in Europe. It's very obvious now, guys. They are paying these guys eventually when they start to work, like this guy did. They pay them less because the government or the states basically pays 50% of what they would normally make, 50%, and then the companies pay 30%. So they're getting 20% less. So the regular truckers are getting hammered. So, I mean, inflation's going up everywhere, of course. I mean, food prices, everything. I was just reading how here in America, because of the Biden administration, remember how we had that, the bird flu lie? Yeah. And eggs were like astronomical, like $50 a carton. I'm exaggerating, of course, but it was ridiculous. And now they've come back down to earth and normal. Thank God that Trump came in. Look how fast that turned around now with the cattle. They slaughter the heck out of the cattle, guys. And the cattle takes years to repopulate. And I remember in Texas where they were like, they're not supporting us. We're just going to have to slaughter our cattle and get what we get. So the cattle have been slaughtered. Beef prices are through the roof. So again, we're still suffering from the last 4 years all over the world, in Canada, here in the United States, in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. All these places basically had these globalists come in and really hammer down on us, right, in multiple ways. So we're suffering in a lot of ways. So this Canadian trucker was telling me, how they get all these benefits and they're working for less, and it's just pushing everybody out. No one can afford anything anymore. He's had to sell everything. He's had to sell everything. His house, his furniture, it's like everything. He's got nothing left. He and his wife. Beautiful couple. It's very sad, very sad. And that's just one. He says it's widespread. So it's, God, and when I heard it, I was like, because we've heard little pieces of this, but to hear it from someone that's actually right there. And, I started off, I was like, oh, you're a trucker. Yeah, we are truckers. You guys basically saved us during COVID. You guys are like heroes. And he said, yeah, that only lasted just so long, didn't it? And then he went into telling me, what's been going on. Wow. So, yeah, we're in trouble. We're in trouble around the world. So these guys, once they're pushed out and they've lost everything, how are they going to come back? Some of these guys own their trucks and they're losing their trucks as well. So it's out of control. So yeah, we need to start to push back on this. Vampire Newsom needs to be removed from office. All right. And of course we have Lewis Herms would be absolutely perfect there. So many things that need to be fixed. They can be fixed very quickly, very easily. But we have to, truckers are our lifeline. Absolutely, Christine. And if they go, now there was a time where, New York was playing games with masking and forced, vaccination passports and all that kind of stuff. And truckers were basically, we're not going to even bring anything into New York anymore. So, and then New York turned around. All right. So and then of course they had the trucker convoy in Canada, and they came after everybody. The government came after all of those guys, seized their bank accounts, put a lot of those guys in jail. Just crazy bad stuff going on in Canada, guys. Our northern neighbor is a terrorist organization, in my opinion. Right, the government, terrorists. Right, so terrorists to their people, and because they're right next to us, they're a terrorist threat. I mean, if we had Al Qaeda, like Afghanistan, north of us, we'd probably take some action, wouldn't we? Well, we pretty much do. All right, Canada is a terrorist organization, in my opinion. Canadian government. All right, so I mean, that's Mike. You're just labeling everybody you don't like as a terrorist. No, I love Canada. I love America. I love California. But there are terrorists. There's real terrorists that are running the show, guys. Right, and we need to face that and start to deal with it like grown-ups. Right. Stop letting people like bullshit us that we're bad because we have these ideas and opinions about this. Right. How many of us do? Like most of America, most of Europe, most of Canada, all of us, all over the world. We need to align and start to push back, or we're dead. We're dead. Right. And then we have like monsters take over and run the show. Monsters already running show in a lot of these places, right? So, am I back in Florida? No, I'm in Anaheim right now, but I'm up in Lake Tahoe. I left Florida. I left the hurricanes, right? So speaking of hurricanes, Melissa, what's that song? Sweet Melissa, something like that. This Melissa's not so sweet. All right. This Melissa, she's an angry girl. All right. So Melissa could be turning into a hurricane fairly soon. It's up in the air. Well, they're projecting that it's not going to hit the United States. It's going to creep along, go to the west, go north, go to the west, and then slingshot out into the Atlantic. Right. We'll see. So it's going to be probably, and I've been saying this for a few days, this looks like a Cat 5. Now, it could be a Cat 5 and have the strongest winds ever, over 200 miles an hour.
A major Category 3 hurricane by Sunday afternoon. So that's a 24-hour period. It's forecast to become an 80-mile-per-hour hurricane Saturday afternoon, then 115-mile-per-hour Category 3 hurricane by Sunday afternoon. So, I mean, that is a huge increase. And then from Sunday afternoon to Monday afternoon, it goes to a Category 4 storm. But listen, I think this could be a Category 5 hurricane by the time we get into Monday. We continue to have hurricane watches here in Haiti. We continue to have tropical storm.
All right. So Jamaica looks like it's going to hit pretty hard. They're talking like 20, 30 foot waves that are going to come ashore. Hurricane force winds, obviously. It could backtrack and then cross over Jamaica and parts of Cuba. And as it comes into Cuba, if it takes that route, it could be up to 40-foot waves as it comes over into Cuba. The reason why is because there's not been any hurricanes that have run over this area this whole season. And there's lots of deep, warm, hot water on the surface and deep. So it can well that up, and it's going to probably make this unbelievable hurricane. Now, there's supposed to be some fronts. If you look at the wind motion.
Watches up for Jamaica. Take this into, let's just go in kind of like 24-hour periods here. So we're going to go to Saturday morning. This begins to drop to a 990.
So you see a lot of the wind is basically pushing this. That's why it's stalling. And then the winds let up a little bit and it starts to move again. And then the winds come back in, and that's what supposedly is going to take it out. So if anything changes along the way, this thing is heading in the direction of Florida. All right. That's my thoughts. But I hope it doesn't hit there, and we haven't seen one yet. So maybe we're not going to see one this year. So we'll see. But we need to be heads up on this and watch this. Keep our eyes on this. Send some prayers its way. So Mitch West weather. Mitch does a great job. I've been watching him for a few years. He built a nice channel over the last couple of years. So doing a good job over there. Give us the weather. So continue to watch this as, like we've been talking about for months now, the sun is really starting to act up. All right. And this is part of what happens, cyclically, over thousands of years. We're looking at the sun acting up, the basically the electrical, all the electrical energies of the earth basically moving around, right? Polar shifting. The poles have been shifting very rapidly. And that doesn't mean like, dramatically, but they have been moving faster and faster and faster. So they're like moving all over, just like crazy. If you look at it's one of these days, I'll show you the poles. I've showed them before, but the poles are moving much faster now, right? So, I mean, Schumann resonance, is going crazy, all kinds of crazy stuff. But we'll see this increase, because this is the cyclical pattern that we're in, where we're going to get unbelievable earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, and all that kind of stuff, because it happens, like I said, cyclically, and we're in that pattern, right? All right, so let's look at what I think is going to be the next, perhaps, super volcano that's going to go off. And I remember going to Naples, Pompeii, and seeing all that, and I was like, even back then, I was feeling like, I feel that this might happen again. Something like this happen again. So this is what we're seeing right now in that area. Campe Flegrei, I believe, is going to be a massive blow up, and it's coming. All right, so let's look at a few minutes of this one.
The supervolcano in Italy, near Naples, near more than 6 million people, guys, Campi Flegrei. And this is so crucial because so many people live right on top of the volcano, the red zone. However you want to determine it, we're dealing with 500,000 people in the red zone. That's why this is so important. The new monthly bulletin is out. And guys, the number of earthquakes is scary, but also we have the land still rising. You see this in this graphic here. It's still rising with 1.5 centimeters per month. But guys, I will also show you in a second the current earthquake list. And that's kind of like really, really concerning in my opinion. So land continues to rise steadily. There's no changes compared to the last bulletin, but it's going up, 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 up. And the geochemistry is something that is also really, really showing right now. Remember my videos about the boiling road where the volcano is melting the asphalt. But in this week, until October 19th, and since then, we've had way more earthquakes, right? The monitored geochemical parameters, and you already see it on the graph. You already see it, right? They say they confirm the long-term trend of the heating up of the hydrothermal system of the volcano. You see the hydrothermal system where this is located. It's heating up. What is heating it up? There has to be a source of heat somewhere, right? We're dealing with a volcano, so we all know where this heat is coming from. And we have...
So I think it's pretty much a given that this is going to go. And there's going to be other ones that will go that are going to be just as big. Some of them will be isolated in isolated areas, kind of like the Kamchatka Russian area where they have all those volcanoes that are going off, have been active in hundreds, thousands of years, something crazy. and that we just had that 8.8 over there, caused a tsunami that caused the largest of current times tsunami, actually, in California. So it actually came ashore and caused in one area, caused one of the biggest tsunamis that has been recorded in the United States in current times, normal times. So since, I guess, we've been documenting, so we've only been here a few hundred years or whatever, so maybe just a couple hundred years on the California coast, I don't know. But there's definitely it's coming. It's overdue, and because it's overdue, it's building an intensity more. So when you build an intensity, kind of like our stock market, when it does finally blow, it's just gonna just devastate, and that's what we're gonna see, probably, which I think is going to be a cascading effect of fault zones that are going to go, and it could literally travel across the United States when it does actually go. Now they're not giving us all of the earthquake activity with this current undersea volcano that's going off the Oregon coast. Oregon has in the past has silenced their earthquake activity. It's like north of them in Washington State, south of them in California, all the way up to the border. There's all these earthquakes are going off, and for some reason, Oregon decides not to show any. Right? So why is that? Do they know something? Yes, of course they know something. And do the elite, the people that have multi-billion-dollar companies that are building underground shelters like crazy, do they know something? What do you think? Right? So this has been a pattern throughout time where the elite have basically left us out to hang. This time, we're cluing each other up, right? So that we can survive the coming catastrophes as they start to unwind here on Earth, all right? So being someone that can, survival mode, you need to start to get into that, right? First of all, you need to be very intuitive. There's so many people that come up to me and ask me about my intuition courses. I guess I should put it out again. My intuition courses are the lowest I've ever been, even when I first released them. And then I raised the prices over the years. And now I've dropped them so that they're the lowest ever, right? So you can get all of them for under $1,000, everything that I have. And you can get, of course, Become the Master of Your Reality, which teaches you, there's 10 different courses. And most of those courses, you're going to have a meditation in them, which is basically going to teach you how to meditate. If you've never meditated before, you need to learn, right? You need to quiet your mind so that when this craziness starts in these big cities and when the earthquake activity starts, you'll be able to, keep yourself calm and do the right thing, be in the right place at the right time, help other people. We need to really survive and keep the next generation going, ourselves included. All right, so silver, as you guys know, is probably going to be a thing in the future, right? When everything else collapses and blows up and explodes, silver and gold always, because we've been through catastrophic times before in the past, and silver and gold always rule. They're really starting to come forward again. As India unleashes silver as banking collateral with 10-to-1 gold-silver ratio. So someone did it, all right? Someone did it. Now, the gold-to-silver ratio here in the United States right now is about 80-to-1. So imagine it goes to 10-to-1, and your price of silver goes through the roof, right? Like we've been talking about. So get your gold, but especially get your silver, right? Silver should be the one you're in. Silver is the most affordable. Get as much silver as you can afford at this time. And again, all these people come up to me and thank me for talking about silver over these years. and they tell me what they got in at, and I'm like, "You're really happy, aren't you?" And they're like, "Yeah." Like, "You're welcome." All right, so it's still early. It's still early in the silver bull market, guys, and gold and platinum. But really, silver is the one you should be in because it's the one that really runs throughout history. Silver runs the highest, the fastest, and then you transfer over to gold. Once the ratio starts to decrease, it's basically a signal. It's time for gold to run, and that's what we'll do when you're with Dr. Kirk Elliott. It'll be easy. You guys are get your gold and silver on your own. It's going to be kind of tough, I think, at some points. So there's been I've seen some silver, people talking on chats and also in videos and so forth. There could be some times where I remember when I was selling my silver and gold back at the height back in 2011. It was kind of hard to sell it because it was going down, then it would pop up, and they were like, and I wasn't getting a great price, but I was getting out of it. Now with Dr. Kirk Elliott, whatever the spot price is, that's what you're going to get. All right. So you can transfer it. You can into money, dollars, whatever, and then ship it back to your bank, or you could transition it just from your silver in your vault into gold holding. So that's the beauty of having it with Dr. Kirk Elliott. So you should have some on you. I'm thinking about getting some junk silver. Junk silver would be like 90% silver. So if things really go bad, the internet goes down, like we've been hearing it's going to do. You guys are crypto, won't be able to buy anything. But those of us that have silver, it's going to be tradable. It's like, I guess this happens throughout time, guys. In Weimar, Germany, those that had silver got the best. They get to the back room where all the good products were, all right? And then everybody else with the Weimar barrel full of money, they got the front of the store, which was the shit. All right. That's the way it could be in the future. So you guys need to get into some silver. If for nothing else, just as, a safe haven, because who knows what's going to happen to the price of the dollar. If it continues to go down, if it falls through, or it could rise, I guess, but likelihood of it actually crashing because we have the BRICS basically putting pressure, selling all their T-bills, which puts a lot of pressure, treasury bills, which puts a lot of pressure on the dollar. So that's why you've been seeing the dollar pretty much crash over the last several, months, because a lot of countries are selling their T-bills because they're kind of tired of it, and who knows, maybe that'll turn around. Now, let's look at a lot of people. I didn't even know this, but President Trump's team has really been hammering terrorism. That's another reason why I think that we're going to see, them come after the terrorists here in the United States. Deadly serious. Trump counterterrorism program kills 370 jihadists in 9 months, official reveals. Seb Gorka also issued a stark warning that the administration plans to dismantle terrorist cells that snuck onto U.S. soil. Does it sound like Mike might be onto something? That terrorists here in the United States are going to get the bullet? Yep, that brainstem's going to get blown out, guys. We want to stop all that nerve function, right? So we get some good snipers and a lot of these military units that are now working in the United States, and they're doing the job behind the scenes. But at some point, we're gonna get that televised, right? So that's going to send a message to all the little leftist ferrymen, and they'll go run hide, and they'll stop coming out in their little bunny suits and protesting. So that'll be good. Then we can get on with business and start to get rid of these illegal aliens that are like driving trucks and taking away our jobs and killing us on our streets. It's bullshit. All right. So the Biden era border policies, as well as supporters funding groups that spread anarchy or assassination plots against Americans, like President Trump. Seems like every other week we're getting some kind of assassination plot that's being discovered. The latest was where they had like a deer sniper hide up in a tree that had a clear shot to President Trump's Air Force One landing pad in Mar-a-Lago out there. So I think that we're going to see some serious blowback, guys. I bet they actually knew who did that, and they're watching that person to see where they go run and who they might disclose, who else they might disclose. Because they put it out that, yeah, we're looking for somebody. So they already know who it is. And so that person like runs, they make phone chatter, and then they get more people, guys. This is the way this is going to work going forward. So at least 370 suspected jihadists have been killed in the first 9 months of President Donald Trump's second term, a swift reckoning that has hampered major Islamist groups from Africa to the Middle East and set the stage for stepping up counterterrorism efforts on U.S. soil. Brainstem, bye-bye, all right? On the streets. Portland, Chicago, L.A., New York. Terrorists, brainstems, bye-bye, all right? Battlefield dead. Battlefield dead, guys. All right, so somebody's got to clean up. I say just leave them there for a little bit so everybody can see. I mean, it's getting into wintertime, so they're not going to blow up from the heat. So let them lay for a little bit, and then have one of those street sweepers come by and like pick it up and move it out to the dump. All right. The White House counterterrorism chief just tells just the news. We're actually turning most of them into red mist. Yes. All right. And it's going to happen on U.S. soil soon. Dr. Sebastian Gorka, the deputy assistant to the president and senior director for counterterrorism at the National Security Council, said in a wide-ranging interview Tuesday, as he described the scenes he has watched. I've seen them myself on closed-circuit military cameras weekly when U.S. munitions strike terror targets. All right, guys. I'm not bullshitting. All right, it's coming to U.S. soil. And probably it's already a little bit been happening behind the scenes. All right, maybe a little bit. All right, maybe a lot of it. All right, so it's going to go. It's going to go public soon, and that's going to be the message. And then, of course, all the leftists are going to scream and holler, and then the leftist press will try and push back on it, but we got to like look past that. We got to just it's like those demonstrations he's had with those people in the unicorn suits, run around the streets, millions of those knuckleheads. Now they said it was 7 million. I say it's probably closer to 4, maybe less, because they're doing CGI and AI, blowing up the numbers. That's what I think. So anyway, so kill zone tensions in Kyrgyz area. Now we've heard this is in Ukraine. So President Trump, played the game. Maybe I'll give you Tomahawk missile. Tomahawk, it's like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 pound warhead, whatever it is. Usually shot from U.S. naval craft, like submarines and some ships and so forth. It can be launched from other tubes, and that's what they were proposing, sending Tomahawks to Russia. A Tomahawk just comes into like one target and blows it up, right? It's not widespread. it's just for one target. You know, ship taking out another ship, submarine taking out a ship, maybe some shore defenses so that the Marines can land and won't get so shot up. But for the most part, it is not a widespread take out a huge, target. So all along I was like, I don't think so, but I don't know what game this is, because you can put a nuclear warhead on it. They have nukes on subs, they have nukes on some ships and so forth. So I was like, nah, I think he's playing. I think he's playing people. Right. So he strung that along for a little while, and he's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I was like, oh, yeah, I thought so. I didn't think you were going to do it. That's good. Play him. All right. String this along. Let Russia take more property from these Nazis and destroy NATO. I think that President Trump should just go, NATO, you guys suck. I don't think I'm going to play with you guys anymore. And just pull out, right? Just pull out. It's like, you guys suck. Yeah, you got it, right? I'm not going to play anymore. And so that'll just collapse it so fast. But the problem is, if that happens, NATO may be more prone to using weapon systems, biological, chemical, and who knows what else, maybe even the threat of nukes, which will probably get themselves nuked into non-existence, of course, by Russia. But for the most part, I think they'll probably play, because when President Trump didn't give them the Tomahawks, then Keir Starmer decided to let them use the UK's long-range missiles, and that's what they did. And they blew up some targets in Russia, and Russia responded very violently against Ukraine and took out a lot of targets. Right, so this game can't go on for much longer. All right, so I've said that I've seen where the Russian army starts to gobble up massive real estate on a daily basis, just start rolling across the landscape. And we're so close to that. Now, there's a lot of experts, myself included, that said that once the Russians start to go over the Dnieper River, it's the main river going from Kyiv all the way down to the Black Sea, that once that gets crossed, that's the death of Ukraine. So we're starting to see that now. It's starting to happen, right? For the first time in this war, several years long now. So as you see right here, this is the Dnieper River, and it is now being crossed by Russia.
This October, we got lots of interesting updates about the situation in this area. Several days ago, some sources reported that the Russians crossed the river of Dnipro around the settlement of Pridniprovska and the settlement of Sadova, but this information yet hasn't been confirmed by any source. And today we got report that the Russians launched offensive operation to the south of the city of Kherson in the area of the Ostrov microdistrict and the Karabil microdistrict. So let's take a look at the video. This video was published by Russian resources, and here we can see how Russian commanders were planning how exactly they're planning to, we're going to cross the river of Dnipro, how the Russians were planning to land infantry. And right after this, we can see several episodes how Russians were attacking positions of the armored forces of Ukraine.
Yep, that looks like the old days in the SEAL teams, right?
On the territory of the island to the south of the city of Kherson. So as you can see, there was very close combat. Here we can see how Russians were crossing some different positions, some different lakes or something like this. And in the final part of the video, we can see several episodes how Russians were filming and how Russians were.
So when there was a time where, we got intel on the Russian Spetsnaz, that's the Special Forces of Russia, as you guys can see there, doing Navy SEAL type movements. Of all of the special forces in the world, I saw them as our only real problem, right? if we ever had to go to war, we would be hard pressed, man against man, against the Russian Spetsnaz. So they were hardcore fighters, right? Well trained, as you guys can see there. Very Navy SEAL type mission going on right there. Ukraine does not stand a chance. So basically, Russia has been annihilating systematically the Ukraine army that was supplied and funded, and also with, you know, many people that came into the Ukraine army to basically just flipped uniforms from European uniforms and probably some American uniforms and put on the Ukraine uniform, right? So they have had a lot of people that have come in and have died in massive numbers from Europe, United States, and from other countries, right, at the Russian front. So Russia has been systematically eliminating and annihilating the Ukrainian and NATO forces, right? NATO does not openly admit that they've been putting soldiers into battle for years now. I've been saying it for years that they've been doing it. Other people have been saying it for years, have been doing it, but it's not openly admitted. You're not going to see it in the press, although there are some of us that have been pointing this out for quite some time, right? So, you know, guns for hire. Some people will do it, and that's what these guys have done. And they've paid the price. There's a lot of people that have found out, you know, just how ruthless it is on this front, and they have run back home. And I pointed a lot of those people out that they came over there like badass, and they talked about how they were cool ass snipers. And there's one Canadian guy that was like that. He's like, they built him up to be a badass sniper. He ran home with his tail between his legs very early on, right? So they're getting ready to go big, guys. There's going to be very little resistance. They're coming into some of these towns, and there's hardly anyone in them. There's a lot of defensive positions where the Russians are coming in, and there's just a few handfuls of people there. As we start to move into winter, and there's the supply issues because the Russians are blowing up all of the power plants all over Ukraine, we're going to see these battle lines collapse very, very quickly. It would not surprise me if we see Russian troops start to eat up almost half of the Ukraine over the winter. So that's left. So let's see what's going on over the next few weeks and months. I'll keep you guys appraised of what's going on. But now that the Dnieper has been crossed, this is where things start to accelerate to the downside for Ukraine, right? So I've been waiting and watching for this, and now that it's happened, I'm like, okay, this is it. We're going to see this puppy really accelerate to the downside for Ukraine and their NATO masters, right? So now Trump is like in a war with, of course, Israel. So Trump is showing everybody who's boss. Now, a lot of people I've seen a lot of people that I've followed over the years. It's just so crazy. When Trump came into office the first time, there were some highly intelligent and spiritual people that I had as friends. And of course, they're in the educational system and had been in the educational system, and they went full friggin' retard and anti-President Trump. Full retard. I was like, what the heck? So I had to disown these people. They were just like full retard mode. And like I said, they were like incredible friends and incredible people that were spiritual and also highly intelligent. And I just like, wow. Now, a lot of people along those same lines, there's so many people and some in the truther community that have been going like cray on President Trump, like being a puppet of Israel. That's the stupidest thing. That's like Trump derangement syndrome on steroids to me. All right. That's totally idiotic. All right. So here we have Trump threatens to cut all support for Israel in extraordinary escalation after J.D. Vance's personal insult, he said. So he felt that Israel had given him a personal insult. So speaking at Tel Aviv's airport before departing, the vice president called the vote a very stupid political stunt. So they voted to basically take the Gaza Strip. They did renewed bombing on the Gaza Strip, and they're talking about taking part of Palestinian. So they said an invasion of the territory as a means to blocking Palestinian statehood. So this was not part of the agreement. And President Trump has been outspoken about it. Said Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu oppose annexation, but right-wing factions in Jerusalem see an invasion of the territory as a means to blocking Palestinian statehood. So they voted on it, barely passing it. Some speculate that the hardliners' 25-24 symbolic vote. Of course, they did it while J.D. Vance was there. That's how he felt it was a personal insult. And he called it a very stupid political stunt, which it is, and will go down in history as. It is unlikely that annexation would pass the multiple rounds of voting required to become law in Israel's Knesset. And Netanyahu has the ability to delay the proposal should it get that far. And Trump told reporters during an event at the White House on Thursday, today, don't worry about the West Bank. Israel is not going to do anything with the West Bank. Does that sound like President Trump is a puppet of Israel, or that President Trump is in charge? President Trump is in charge, guys. All right. Do not think anyway. So you're going to have all of these experts that are going to come out and they're going to talk their smack, because they always do. And it's so obvious, just like the Trump derangement syndrome, so obvious. But still, we're going to have people that fall for it, Let people fall for, 9/11. Let people fall for the vaccination, blah, blah, blah. So don't fall for President Trump is a puppet of Israel. Do not fall for that. Right? That's not true. It's the other way around, right? At this point. So looking good. Yep. Bert, he's large and in charge. I like it. That's a good one. All right, guys. That's all I got for tonight. Stay in the love vibration. It's going to get interesting. All right. Battlefield dead. Terrorist battlefield dead in the U.S. It's coming. All right. We'll see you guys next time.